Man, Susan Gibson on the Boston Chris podcast. This is incredible stuff. I want to talk about something else, solo albums. So you've had 7 projects. Correct me if I'm wrong. You've had 7 projects.
That's right.
And the first one was in 2002. That was called Chin Up.
Yep.
And the latest was 2019, which is called The Hard Stuff.
Yeah.
That's 17 years.
Yeah.
7 projects.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about evolution.
Okay.
So talk about how you've changed or progressed or matured through those processes between the 2002 and the 2019.
Okay, so one big one is 2002, I was making an ungodly amount of money in royalties from the chicks.
Yeah.
And in the
and that's 4 years later, mind you.
And that's 4 years later.
Right.
Yeah. In the context of making an album and every other problem I had in my life, I threw money at it because it was the only tool I felt I had, because I had no experience.
Right.
I didn't have that many connections with people, like to say, Betty Sue, do you have a graphic designer you like to use? Or, and I had no discernment. Like I wanted everything all the time.
Yeah.
And so if you listen to like my second record, which is called Outer Space, that we made in Houston, Jack Saunders, who is a brilliant musician and man, produced that record. And I have so much sympathy for that guy working with me back then.
Yeah.
Because he's a really talented guy making beautiful music. And the person that's signing the paycheck says, yeah, I want fiddle and pedal steel and a dobro and and that is just for this one sound.
One song.
Yeah. And he's having to balance this big dick wagging thing that I'm doing by making this huge record.
You just needed one Milo Daring. He plays all of those things.
I know. Well, and it's not even the money though.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, where did that song go? It's buried under 36 tracks of oohs and ahs.
It's so funny. I have a question about that on my outline.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny you say that.
So that is one thing that I hopefully have evolved past.
Yeah.
Is to, when I hire a producer, like with the Hard Stuff, I recorded my tracks, playing the guitar and singing the part, and then I left and went on tour. That whole album, Andre Moran did that, made every decision, and then he'd send me things to listen to, and I'd be like, ooh, I like that, or there's something about that bass line that feels like it's distracting me from
So it sounds
whatever.
like one thing you learned was distance.
Like, take your hands off of it.
Yeah, I love that. That's
great. Hire good
Trust
people.
and distance.
Yeah. If you're hiring someone to produce the record, then let them do it.
Let them produce it.
If you're hiring someone to design your T-shirt, let them do it.
Let them do it.
Quit getting in
My
there.
wife says all the time, "You're the artist."
Yeah.
We'll go to a restaurant and the waiter will say, "What do you want?" And she'll say, "You're the artist. You tell me what do I want."
Yeah.
Just everywhere.
Yeah.
Geez, I've learned so much from my wife. It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
That's great.
Instrumentation. This is on my list. It's part of the evolution question. It's the very next one in line after the one about the 2000 to the 2019. How do you decide what instruments to use to kind of send your message better?
If I'm thinking of a live context, I have a couple of side people that I like for playing an acoustic lead player or even an electric lead player or a violin. As far as records go, I think, so I made a record with Gabe Rhodes called Tightrope that is really stripped down and sparse. And it's really basically me and Gabe. I think we hired a drummer for one thing or nothing.
Great.
Thank you. But it's just really, there's a couple of instruments on every song. It's made to kind of be like, this is a little bit like what Susan sounds like live. Whereas those other ones are a little bit more glamour shot.
Is that important to you? Sounding like you do live in a studio environment?
Yeah.
Because replication's important, right?
Yeah, but I abandoned that for hard stuff.
Yeah.
Like I've never had a clarinet player come with me, and there's a clarinet part on that song, on one of those songs, and there's a horn section on one of those songs.
Who's deciding that? Andre decided.
Well, I'll tell you, I had the song, the hard stuff, and I thought, if I'm going to have a horn section, this is the song it's going to be on.
Yeah.
This just lends itself to that, and I've always wanted to have a horn section.
That's so cool.
Just cause.
One of
It
those
is
things
cool.
is to say you did it.
Yeah, it's like wanting a Harley Davidson
Mm-hmm.
or something. Like, there's no real point, but it's cool to have.
Talk about the role of the banjo.
I love
your
the
sound.
banjo. So I started playing the banjo in the Groovies.
Yeah.
And I always think the banjo is an easy instrument to get okay at and a really hard instrument to get really good at.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm okay at the banjo, but I love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a different texture to it. I think that it has an inherent smile, right? There's something that when someone sees a banjo,
It's hard to be sad with a
it's
banjo,
hard to be
yeah.
sad. And if you notice, the songs that I've written on a banjo are 8x10, the one about missing my mom,
Which is
and
sad.
Chin Up,
That's so
which
funny.
is a song about failing the presidential fitness test, which to play that in a serious manner would be so depressing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I play, like if I don't take my banjo in and I play 8x10 on the guitar, it's different. It
Yeah.
is so much more melancholy. With the banjo, it's like, you know,
That's
I never thought to ask
that's a
you
cool
why.
way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Like, just because, yeah, that was why I wanted to talk about the banjo was because of 8x10. Because like, oh man, so I talked to somebody once about, it was Robert Ellis Oral, who wrote a bunch of songs for Taylor Swift, but he has this tendency of writing sad songs in a happy way. And I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
Like the lyrics would be so depressing and melancholy, and the melody would be so uplifting.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
It's great camouflage.
it's like, why would you do this? He
Yeah.
was like, are you asking me about it?
Yeah.
And I said, well, yeah. He goes, that's why I did it. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Great answer.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like he'll have these depressing songs and uplifting melody, and like the music video will be like Chip and Dale, you know, like playing with an acorn or something. I'm just like, I love you. And that's why I love chatting with songwriters,
Yeah.
because everybody has their way,
Yeah.
and it's never the same way,
Yeah, that's right.
you know. Song coaching is also important to you.
Yeah.
Very, very important to you.
Yeah.
So that mentorship must come from your mom, right? You want to pass it down.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And I think that songwriting is such a solitary thing most of the time that, and I tell this to everybody that I work with, nothing's going to teach you about writing songs like writing songs.
Yep.
But also, it's good to have, I mean, a lot of times when I'm doing song coaching, all it is listening with a little bit of a skill set of writing songs to say, hey, you know what? I think your second verse here is stronger as a first verse. And you know what, Boston? In January, I hired myself a songwriting coach. And I'm working with this guy named Darden Smith now.
Okay.
And he's doing
Heard
that
that
for me.
name.
You have heard that
Yeah.
name. He's great. Google him.
I will.
He's great. And it has been so helpful. He has disarmed every excuse I've had for not writing songs. You know what I mean? And that's really powerful.
That is powerful.
You know?
I love
Yeah.
that you have the confidence as a song teacher to get a song teacher.
You know what? It's kind of started with going to Mary Gaucher's workshop.
Yeah.
And it is so enlightening to listen to someone else talk about their process.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing I really love about co-writing songs. Because I've co-written a little bit. I only have a handful of songs of co-writes that
Right.
I actually play.
Yeah.
I have a lot of co-writes sitting around that I don't play because I don't love the song, but I do love the experience of getting to sit with another person and see, well, this is how they do it.
Are you sponging?
Yeah, does that mean like just trying to absorb whatever?
Yeah, take it in.
Yeah,
Learn.
yeah. Yes, but when I was doing those co-writing things right after, like in the late '90s, early 2000s, I thought I had to bring it, and I missed a lot of opportunities of just learning
Yeah.
from people by thinking that I had something I needed to show them something.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
I
gonna
didn't
be
have
tough.
anything to show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough.